unlike me to speak about ongoing legal cases that I have for obvious reasons, right? But there are certain things that just need to be said. And I gave this a bit of attention at the end of last week. And I'm going to revisit it today because, frankly, normally, as I say, I wouldn't discuss an ongoing legal case. However, this now, I feel like this is something that needs to be done on a moral basis because what I see now is just a blatant, it's theft. It's fraudulent and it's targeting people. And what's inspired me actually to revisit this subject today is the fact that since I put my video out on Friday, I've had people contact me, numerous people contact me directly to say that they have found themselves a victim of this scam. And it's shocking, actually. So it's quite out of character for me to be talking about something that's ongoing in terms of a legal case. But sometimes you got to do it. So let me pull this up. I'm going to come back to that, actually. This is the latest email from Britain First, right? So we're revisiting the subject of the case that I have against Paul Golding and others within Britain First. Other Britain First officials and Paul Golding have judgments against them to pay me sums of money, and Paul Golding has a judgment against him for assault, battery and trespass. As I said, the defendants in this case apply to have those judgments set aside, which just means it goes to a hearing and then there'll be another judgment, right? Because I'm that confident in my case that there'll be another judgment. However, think about this. I want to bring something to everyone's attention, namely the people that are still supporting Britain First. But there is an overlap between people that are supporting the British Freedom Party and Britain First, and because they have no idea of what's been going on. There are people that don't know how I've been treated by Paul Golding and Britain First and the Britain First officials. There are people that don't know that. So I think it's only right that people have the full picture because they're being misled. Not just misled, they're being lied to, blatantly lied to. And it's fraudulent. So you'll recall that last week, there were some emails that went out from Britain First, and they were just barefaced lies. The emails were saying that Britain First were being sued by Hope Not Hate, which is an absolute lie. Britain First are not being sued by Hope Not Hate. I have sued Britain First. I have. Jayda Fransen. Nothing to do with Hope Not Hate. Never have I had anything to do with Hope Not Hate. Never have I taken a penny from Hope Not Hate. And this is all a matter of fact on the record in the call for anybody who's interested in facts instead of just watching silly documentaries that are pumped out, right? That's a fact. So the fact is, I, the plaintiff, Jayda Fransen, have sued Paul Golding and others within Britain First. That's a fact. A judgment was made against these people in January 2022. So these people are aware of the case. However, last week, they were pumping out emails left, right and centre. Now think about this. Think about this. They were sending emails to their own members and supporters. I mean, how outrageous is that? Can you imagine me sending you emails claiming that I'm being the party, the British Freedom Party, our beloved movement is being sued by Hope Not Hate. They're trying to bankrupt us. And then you found out that actually, I've just been sued by someone that I've battered over a 5-year period. Can you imagine if you found that out? How disappointed in me would you be? Well, thankfully, you can rest assured that I would never, ever do such a thing because God will not be mocked. I am not going to use my position of authority as the leader of the British Freedom Party and my access to people's data and to people's email accounts to send them bile and lies and tripe because that's what's been going on here. And it's so fraudulent. I'm almost certain that it's criminal, but I guess we'll see. Anyway, the emails went out last week stating that Britain First were being sued by Hope Not Hate. So I released a video and said that isn't true. And if you've donated to that campaign, because they were raising £6,000, they pumped out emails saying we need £6,000 to pay to defend ourselves against Hope Not Hate. People have contacted me and said, Jayda, I paid money into that, not knowing that actually it was the case that you brought against Golding for assault, battery and trespass. I am sorry. I wish I hadn't supported them and I'm going to ask for a refund. I hope that everybody who's donated to that has asked for their refund because you deserve it. They are still lying to you. Still lying to you. Here's the great thing. And again, out of character, but I'm going to do it. This is something I never thought I'd do. I don't like sharing details of ongoing court cases, but some things need to be done. I have in my hand right here a letter from Paul Golding and the other officials within the Britain First movement. I have a letter from their solicitor to mine, dated today. By the way, anyone who's watching this, it's the 19th of October today, 19th of October 2022. Last week, several emails went out asking for money for you to defend Britain First against Hope Not Hate. That was a lie. They weren't defending themselves against Hope Not Hate. Paul Golding was defending himself against me after I sued him for assault and battery. and I got a judgment against him. Let me tell you something. Britain First said that they were not aware of this case ever existing, right? That's what they've said. You heard it, I heard it, everyone's read it. Their members have been told that. That's what they've said repeatedly. This never existed. They didn't know anything about it. Then they accepted that actually they knew about this in January 2022. Right? Then they said it's all lies and it's all been overturned. Their words exactly are, a judge has thrown this out, which is a barefaced lie. A judge hasn't thrown this out. This hasn't been thrown out. This is an ongoing case which is going to go to a hearing in which these people will need to defend themselves, right? I made that clear last week. So for all those people that have been sucked in again by the emails from Britain First on Friday saying, victory, we've defeated the Hope Not Hate stooge, right? This is what they're saying. They've defeated Hope Not Hate. That's what they're saying. Defeated them in their legal battle. They've never had a legal battle with Hope Not Hate. The legal battle is with me. And I already had the judgment against them. And for those of you who have been told that this is finished and done and dusted, I'd just like to read you the letter from their solicitor dated today, which says, would I be agreeable to withdrawing from the proceedings? Answer me this. Answer me this. Would their solicitor write to my legal team and ask me if I am willing to withdraw these proceedings if the proceedings were finished and they had a victory and it was done and dusted? No, of course not. Of course not. And the answer is obviously no. And I think they've been made aware of that now. So I'm going to show you their latest email, which is another grift. I'm just basically now at this stage, for the good of the people that are getting sucked into this, I'm just going to keep exposing their grift. Right? So, and there are lots of people doing that at the moment. There's lots of grifting going on at the moment, and they're being exposed left, right, and centre. So I think it's only fair, since I've been implicated in this, and since they've, since this case concerns me, no one else, I think it's only fair that I let their people know, people that are parting with their money. Let me just say something right now. This is what really annoys me. In our country right now, people are making a decision as to whether they turn their heating on or whether they eat. Right? Heat or eat. People in this country are not turning their heating on and telling their children to put jumpers on because they can't afford to heat their homes. Meanwhile, those very people who are finding it hard to live are parting with their hard-earned cash to help Britain First defend themselves against Hope Not Hate, which is a complete and utter lie. Anyone who's parted with money and given it to Britain First, you've given it to a man who wants to overturn a judgment against him for battering a woman over a 5-year period. That's what you've just been duped into doing. And I'm sorry to say that. It gives me no pleasure. I hope that you do the right thing. I hope that you stand up for yourself. Don't allow yourselves to be conned. Don't allow yourselves to be victims. Contact them and say, I would like my money back. You have obtained my donation under false pretenses. You have been dishonest and I would like my money back. And I would also encourage people to report this because it's fraud. However, let me just get back to the case at hand. Here's the letter asking whether I'm willing to drop the proceedings that they've alleged don't exist. Now here's the latest. Here's the latest email to go out today. And I'm just gonna show you something. I mean, the language is absolutely ridiculous. Like, you can tell when someone's really rattled, can't you? And frankly, I'm not even really concerned who's rattled, who's not. This is a legal case. People win, people lose, people have a case, people don't have a case. We'll see. Let it go to try. I'm confident. Here's the latest email from Britain First. Again, still putting the fraudulent narrative out. Look, legal battle, Britain First versus Hope Not Hate. That is a lie. Someone's just put it in the chat. Absolutely. False representation, mail fraud, false accounting, malicious communication, harassment, and straight fraud. All are very serious, so unnecessary, and deeply stupid. I couldn't have put that better myself. That is a misrepresentation of what is going on. This is not a legal battle between Britain First and Hope Not Hate. That is a lie. So first and foremost, again, think about this. You get an email claiming that you need money to defend the party against Hope Not Hate, and then it turns out to be something completely different. It's fraud. Message from Paul Golding. Last week, they secured a major victory, he claims. I'm going to skim a lot of this, but you can read the full thing here. But they said they've acknowledged now, we had known about this legal plot back in January, but we had to remain quiet. Why? Why did they have to remain quiet? It was a matter of public record that the individuals, including Paul Golding, including Ashley Simon, including other officials within Britain First, have been sued, and there was a default judgment against them, ordering them to pay money that's owed by the party to me. right? And this is not money that I'm trying to extort from the party. This is like computer systems that I paid for Britain First. And when I went to jail, they never paid me back for. Phone lines that I paid for Britain First that they decided they were never going to pay me back for. Money that was illegally taken from my account whilst I was in jail by said Britain First officials that they don't want to pay me back for. Do you see how maybe these people aren't necessarily the kind of people that you want to support? I'll leave you to make your own judgment there. But here we go. So it says, we pounced and raised the necessary legal funds and got it thrown out of court, right? That's above my head there. See that? That is a lie. But it's interesting to see that they raised their £6,000. So they were asking for £6,000 to defend this, and they say that they raised it. They raised £6,000. Let me tell you what happened. Last week. There was supposed to be a hearing by in the High Court of Northern Ireland regarding these default judgments that they had against them, and the defendants, being Paul Golding and others, said that they wanted them set aside. And I, as the plaintiff, said that's fine, you can have them set aside. If you're claiming that you didn't get a chance to defend yourself, set them aside and defend yourselves, because I know that I'll win. That's what happened. There was no big hearing. There was no £6,000 necessary. What did their solicitors take £6,000 off of them to write this letter? Seriously, is that what £6,000? You guys just donated £6,000 so that their solicitors could write a letter saying, will your client please withdraw the above proceedings? Pfft, blimey. You got some expensive solicitors, right? So he said, since then, there's been plenty of gnashing of teeth from these hope not hate turncoats. Lies. They said this was a huge victory because if the default judgment was not overturned right now, hasn't been overturned, by the way, it's been set aside, big difference. As you read this, myself, Chairman Ashley Simon, and a bunch of others would hoe the Hope Not Hate stooge. Lie. It's not Hope Not Hate. It's not Hope Not Hate suing them. They're lying to you, saying this is Hope Not Hate. It is nothing to do with Hope Not Hate. Let me tell you something. Hope Not Hate and Britain First are just as bad as each other. These people are complete wrong-uns. The damage that people like Hope Not Hate, those Marxist scumbags that go after genuine patriots, the damage that they do, think about this, think about the similarities. Hope Not Hate go after decent British patriots, British nationalists. They go after them, right? They make videos about them, they make smear campaigns about them. What did Britain First do? They go after decent British patriots, they make videos about them, make smear campaigns about them, right? What's the difference between these two? Nothing. And they both pump out nonsense propaganda to raise lots and lots of money from their followers. Well, I hope now the Britain First followers are starting to see that they're being conned on a massive scale. And I don't like to see people getting ripped off. I don't like it. It says here, it's obvious the traitor has obtained these funds from their buddies. Right? How else can they bring us down? We don't even want to mention the person's name because it gives them oxygen and free publicity. I'm not worried that they haven't said my name. I'm not worried. But they said Britain First will never capitulate to dirty tricks and sabotage by far left extremists. Anyway, let me give you the crux of this. This is where they're going with this. We have been told by our legal team that the next stage of the legal process in this case is to prepare a defence statement. Yeah, I would say so. And submit it to the High Court. Our legal team have been instructed to do this, as well as apply, right, listen to this, as well as an application to attach a charge to the turncoat's house, because when they lose this case, we will then recoup our legal costs by taking their house and auctioning it. Let me just look into the camera for a minute. For those of you who are actually decent human beings, let me tell you something. Part of this claim that's going through the High Court of Northern Ireland and the money that's being owed to me, all of it, in fact, all of it that's owed by Britain First and Britain First officials is through decent, honest contracts that I took out on their behalf, right? Loans that I made to the party that they never paid back. And you will recall that my house in London that I bought when I was a youngster, I used to work for a law firm, right? Many moons ago, before I was a full-time extremist. I worked for a law firm. I worked very, very hard and I bought my own home. I went from living on the streets as a youngster to buying my own house in London. It was a massive achievement for me. Massive achievement. I lost that house in a court case because Paul Golding and Britain First declared that they had no assets and that the only asset available for the Halal Food Authority, who sued Britain First over a video that I wasn't even in, the Halal Food Authority were told to go after my home in London by Britain First and Paul Golding. My house in London was taken from me and given to Muslims in the Halal Food Authority by Britain First and Paul Golding, because they decided that they were going to move the Britain First assets and claim that they had no money and say, go after Jayda Fransen. And that's exactly what happened. I lost my house in London that I worked very hard for. That house had nothing to do with politics. It had nothing to do with Britain First. I paid for it out of the blood, sweat and tears of my own work from a young age, right? I lost that house in London. Now, my home in Northern Ireland apparently is at risk because Paul Golding and Britain First are claiming that they're going to put a charge on the property. They're going to take the property, auction it off, and take the proceeds of sale from my house to pay their legal fees. So not only did these people lose my house for me in England, in London, but now they reckon they're going to take my home. They're going to take my home in Northern Ireland instead of just paying the money that they owe me, right? Now, obviously, I understand that Paul Golding's upset because he's been ousted as a man that beats women. And nobody wants to be associated with a woman beater, do they? Like, really? Nobody likes that. But you do the crime, you do the time, right? You've been outed. That's that. It's irrefutable evidence out there from his own mouth confirming this, right? So that's done. What's done is done. I showed you on Friday. It is what it is. But to then say, I'm going to take that woman's house from her because she dared to defend herself. I'm going to take that woman's house from her because she dared to defend herself in court against assault and battery. Can you imagine? So do you know what? I'm just going to put this out there, right? To any of the Britain First supporters that are donating to this, you just think about your own daughters, your sisters, your wives, your granddaughters, your goddaughters, your nieces. Just think about that. Imagine if they came up against a man that beat them over a period of 5 years and they got some sort of justice by getting a court order that said it wasn't okay for him to do that. It wasn't okay for that man to beat your daughter or your wife or your granddaughter, right? Or your niece or your sister. That's not okay. We know that it's not okay for men to beat women. Imagine if they got that little bit of justice. It doesn't take it away. It doesn't take away all of the pain and the abuse and the assault. It doesn't take any of that away, but it just gives them a little bit of justice. And then imagine if that man said to you, can you give me money to get that overturned? Because I don't want to admit that I've done wrong. I just want to go after that woman and take her house. Think about your own daughter. Think about your females in your family. What would you be doing? And now think about the fact that you've been duped into giving that money and decide what side you want to be on here. I'm not asking people to give me the money, right? What I would suggest is anybody who's donated to this campaign, which is a lie, right? And here's the rest of the campaign. Utter lie. Utter lie. So here we go. They're basically saying that they need money. Money. They want money to pay for their... in the meantime, if you can chip in with a modest donation so that we can fight this dastardly plot to destroy our movement, please chip in below. Oh, and they're threatening some sort of demolition video. Right, whatever. The long and short of this is these people are trying to defraud you out of money. Right? They're trying to defraud you out of money again to defend a case that is indefensible. And this is completely indefensible. Any decent human being would just say, do you know what? I did wrong. Hold my hands up. But no. So I'm just going to say this to anyone who is continuing to support Britain First, anyone who's given money to this campaign. I would strongly suggest that not only do you apply for a refund, you contact them and say you want that money refunded, but I would report these people, because if you don't take action, we sit here all day long and talk about taking action, doing some activism, being part of a movement. What movement do you want to be part of? I'm not telling you to give the money to me. No, just get your money back. And I tell you what, get your money back, and that might enable you to turn your heating on. This is, again, what really angers me. There are people in this country that can't afford to pay their bills at the moment, people who are really struggling. And I know that those very people, those decent, hard-working people, will be some of the people that are parting with their money, thinking they are helping Britain First defend themselves against Hope Not Hate. You are not. You are helping a woman beater defend himself against the indefensible. I mean, you're helping him put a case up to try and take my house after I was the victim of abuse for 5 years. Get your money back. buy your kids some new shoes, or use it to buy them some school dinners, or use it to put food on your table, or use it to pay your electricity bill or your gas bill. Or if you do want to donate it somewhere, I don't know, donate it to a pro-life group, or donate it to a charity, something that's dear to you. There's charities across the country that are doing really good work, or there are activists across the country doing good work. But think about what camp you want to find yourselves in. And lastly, I've said this once, and I'm going to say it one last time, because I think it's only fair. I think that every Britain First member should be put on notice that they are jointly and severally liable for the debts that Britain First have given an undertaking to pay. Therefore, what that means in layman's terms, let me spell that out, is if you are a member of Britain First, Paul Golding is refusing to pay his bills, right? He's refusing to pay them. The other officials in Britain First are refusing to pay the Britain First bills. That means that the liability falls to you, the members. So it's your house. It's your money, it's your earnings, it's your wages. And that is not fair, right? But that's how this works. You are jointly and severally liable. And you need to be aware of that, because they're not telling you that. They're spinning you lie and lie and lies. They're spinning you lies, and they're making these outrageous graphics. Paul Golding depicting himself as some kind of national hero fighting against the far left, fighting against those scumbags in Hope Not Hate. Those three men in that picture are just as bad as each other. Do not be fooled.